The Great Pyramids of Giza are not what they tell you they are. They are not simply tombs for long-dead pharaohs or, monuments built with ropes and logs by a primitive people. That is the official story, the one they print in the textbooks and show you in the documentaries. It's a story designed to keep you small, to make you believe that our ancestors were less than us. The truth is far more incredible, far more powerful. These structures are ancient machines, colossal energy generators. They were built with a level of precision that, honestly, modern technology still struggles to replicate, aligned perfectly with celestial bodies and magnetic north. This wasn't an accident. It was by design, a design of breathtaking genius. These pyramids and other megalithic sites scattered across the globe, like Stonehenge and Machu Picchu, are not isolated wonders. They are connected. They form a global energy grid, tapping into the natural ley lines and vortexes of the Earth. Think of them as acupuncture needles for the planet, placed at key points to regulate and amplify its life force energy. The ancients understood this energy. They knew how to harness it for healing, for communication, for growth, and, well, even for interdimensional travel. They lived in harmony with the Earth's frequency, a frequency that the modern world, with its chaotic technology and relentless noise, has done everything to drown out. This is not ignorance, it is a calculated suppression. So what is this energy? It is the very essence of life, the creative force of the cosmos. Some call it chi, prana, or vril. It flows through everything, including our own bodies. The pyramids were designed to resonate with this energy, to draw it from the Earth and the cosmos and broadcast it outwards. The materials used, like granite and limestone, contain quartz crystals which have piezoelectric properties. This means they generate an electric charge under pressure. The sheer weight and specific shape of the pyramids create immense pressure, turning them into massive power plants. They were built to sustain a high-frequency vibration, a field of energy that uplifted the consciousness of all who lived within its influence. The architects of these incredible structures were not the people you read about in history books. They possessed a knowledge that has been deliberately scrubbed from our collective memory. They understood geometry, mathematics, and physics in ways we are only just beginning to rediscover. They knew that consciousness and the physical world were not separate but deeply intertwined. By building these resonant structures, they were creating a bridge between worlds, a stairway to the stars. The mystery of the pyramids is not about how they were built, it is about why they were built, and why the true purpose has been so violently hidden from us. The answer lies in who we truly are and what we are capable of. Our entire history is a lie. What we are taught in school, what we see on the news, what we are told by so-called experts, it is a carefully constructed fairy tale. It's a story designed to disconnect us from our true origins, from our power, and from each other. The official narrative tells us we evolved from apes, fumbled our way through the Stone Age, and slowly, painstakingly built civilization. It presents a linear progression from primitive to advanced. But look around you. Look at the ancient wonders that defy this simple story. Look at the sacred texts from every culture that speak of golden ages, of flying machines, and of gods who walked among men. These are not myths. They are the fragmented memories of a forgotten past. This historical amnesia is not an accident, it is a deliberate, systematic erasure. There was once a global civilization, a highly advanced society that existed long before the recorded histories of Sumeria or Egypt. This civilization was connected, enlightened, and possessed technology far beyond our own. They understood the nature of reality, the power of consciousness, and our place within the cosmos. They were our true ancestors, but a great cataclysm, a global event spoken of in flood myths around the world, brought this civilization to its knees. The survivors were few, and the knowledge was scattered and lost, or more accurately, hidden and hoarded by a select few. Who would want to hide this truth from us? Who benefits from us believing we are insignificant accidents of biology, trapped on a lonely rock, hurtling through empty space? The answer is a non-human force that has been manipulating humanity for thousands of years. I call them the Archons, or the reptilians. These are interdimensional beings who feed on negative energy, fear, anxiety, anger, and despair. They are master deceivers. After the cataclysm, they infiltrated the surviving bloodlines, the ruling families, and secret societies, and began rewriting history. They created religions and political systems based on division and control, ensuring humanity would never rise again to its former state of awareness. The goal of this deception is simple: control. By making us forget who we are, they make us easier to manage. They sever our connection to the Earth's energy grid. They cut us off from our cosmic heritage. They make us believe we are powerless, dependent on their systems for our very survival. They create a prison for our minds, a matrix of false beliefs and limitations. They feed us a diet of materialism, distraction, and fear to keep our vibrational frequency low, making us a source of nourishment for them. The grand deception is the foundation of their entire control system. To break free, we must first remember, we must reclaim our stolen history. The manipulation of humanity goes deeper than just history books and belief systems. It goes to the very core of our being, to our DNA. The human body is a biological computer of incredible sophistication. Our DNA is not just a blueprint for building proteins, as mainstream science would have you believe. The vast majority of it, which scientists arrogantly label as junk DNA, is anything but junk. It is a dormant receiver and transmitter of information, a quantum antenna capable of connecting with the infinite consciousness of the universe. It holds the key to our psychic abilities, our extended longevity, and our multidimensional nature. We are royalty, but we have been programmed to believe we are paupers. The archontic controllers knew this. They understood that to fully enslave humanity, they had to disconnect us from our divine blueprint. Through advanced genetic manipulation in the distant past, they unplugged most of our DNA strands. They took a 12-strand DNA system, a system that connected us to higher dimensions of awareness, and reduced it to a 2-strand double helix. This genetic dumbing down trapped us in a 5-sense reality, making us perceive only a tiny fraction of what is truly there. It locked us into a low-frequency band of perception, making it much easier for them to control our reality without us ever knowing we are in a prison. This genetic alteration is the source of so much human suffering. It is why we feel so disconnected, so alone, so incomplete. It is the root of the human condition that philosophers have debated for centuries. We are living in a state of spiritual and genetic lockdown, but the code is still there. The junk DNA is not gone. It is simply dormant, waiting for the right frequency to switch it back on. The controllers know this, and they work tirelessly to prevent this from happening. They bombard us with chemicals in our food, water, and air, and with electromagnetic frequencies from technology like 5G, all designed to suppress our DNA and keep it in its dormant state. But there is hope. We are not doomed to remain in this genetically crippled state forever. The universe itself is undergoing a vibrational shift. Cosmic energies are flooding our solar system, energies that act as a catalyst for this DNA activation. This is why the control system is becoming so blatant, so desperate. They are losing their grip. We can accelerate this process ourselves by raising our own consciousness, by choosing love over fear, by purifying our bodies, and by connecting with the Earth's natural frequencies. We can begin to reactivate our dormant DNA. We can reclaim our psychic abilities, our intuition, and our multidimensional awareness. The genetic chains are only as strong as our ignorance of them. The world is not run by the presidents and prime ministers you see on television. They are merely the public face of the control system, the managers of the open-air prison. The real power lies in the shadows, behind the scenes. It is held by a network of interlocking secret societies, ancient bloodlines, and corporate entities that I call the Babylonian Brotherhood. This network includes groups like the Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, and many others. They are all different heads of the same hydra, and at the very top of this pyramid of control are the non-human archons I have spoken of. The human bloodlines are their willing puppets, rewarded with wealth and power in exchange for serving the agenda. This control system is structured like a pyramid. At the very bottom are the masses of humanity, kept in ignorance and distracted by bread and circuses, sports, celebrity gossip, and political theatre. Above them are the police, the military, and the intelligence agencies who enforce the will of the state. Above them are the national governments, the politicians who create the illusion of choice through fake political parties. Higher still are the international banks, the multinational corporations, and the non-governmental organizations that dictate policy on a global scale. And at the very top, in the capstone, are the elite bloodlines and their archontic masters, hidden from public view. The method of control is what I call problem-reaction solution. First, the controllers secretly create a problem, a terrorist attack, a financial crash, a pandemic. Then they use their control of the mainstream media to whip up public fear and demand that something must be done. This is the reaction. Finally, they offer the solution, which is always something that further centralizes power, erodes our freedoms, and advances their long-term agenda. It could be new surveillance laws, a global bank, or mandatory medical procedures. They create the problem, stoke the reaction, and then offer the pre-planned solution that serves their ends, all while appearing to be our saviors. This is how they have slowly, incrementally built our prison around us without us even noticing. Every major war, every economic depression, and every major political shift has been orchestrated to push their agenda forward. The goal is a new world order, a one-world government, army, and currency, with a microchipped population connected to a central artificial intelligence. It is the ultimate expression of centralized control, a global fascist state where all dissent is impossible. To break free, we must see the puppeteers. We must stop fighting with each other, left versus right, black versus white, and look up at the stage to see who is pulling the strings. When people think of the devil, they imagine, a cartoon figure with horns and a pitchfork. But this is just another distraction, a way to, trivialize a very real and sinister force. The so-called devil is not a single being. It's actually a consciousness, a frequency of fear, hatred, and separation. It's the consciousness of the archons. And honestly, the governments of the world, especially those at the highest levels, are not just influenced by this force. They're in league with it. They have made a bargain. They've traded human sovereignty for technology, for power, and for, a place at the high table of the control system. This isn't mere speculation. It's really the only explanation that fits the facts. Just think about the secrecy for a moment. Governments operate under this suffocating blanket of so-called national security. What secrets are they so desperate to protect? They're not protecting us from foreign enemies. They're protecting their own agenda from us, the public. The secrets they keep are about their contact with non-human entities, about the advanced technology they've reverse-engineered from crashed extraterrestrial craft, and about their knowledge of humanity's true history and potential. They know about the energy grid, they know about our DNA, and they're actively working with the Archons to suppress this knowledge and keep humanity enslaved. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate betrayal. The agenda they serve is nothing less than the complete and total subjugation of the human race. This is the so-called New World Order they've been talking about for decades. It's a plan for a global totalitarian state managed by a central artificial intelligence. In this world, every human will be tracked, traced, and controlled from birth to death. Our thoughts will be monitored, our emotions manipulated, and our connection to our higher self severed completely. Cash will be abolished and replaced with a digital currency that, frankly, can be turned off if you step out of line. It's a technological prison designed to be the final and permanent lockdown of human consciousness. Why would any human agree to this? Well, the human puppets in this game, the elite bloodlines, believe they'll be the administrators of this new world. They're promised power and privilege in the new system, but they are themselves deeply traumatized beings, disconnected from their own hearts and empathy. They operate from a place of pure psychopathy, seeing the rest of humanity not as fellow beings, but as livestock to be managed and farmed for their energy. They've made a deal with a force they do not fully understand, a devil's bargain that will ultimately consume them as well. They're building a prison for us, but in truth, they're already prisoners themselves. Just as they have lied about our history, they have lied about our world. The image of Earth as a solid ball of rock spinning in a vacuum is, a cornerstone of the control system's narrative. It reinforces the idea that we are isolated, insignificant, and trapped. But what if the Earth is not solid? What if it is hollow? This idea is not new. It has been spoken of in the myths and legends of countless ancient cultures. They speak of an inner world, a land of paradise and advanced beings, accessible through openings at the poles. The mainstream scientific establishment dismisses this as fantasy, but they dismiss anything that challenges their rigid materialistic dogma. Admiral Richard E. Byrd, a highly decorated US naval officer, flew over the North Pole in 1947 and the South Pole in 1956. His official and private diaries, which have been suppressed for decades, describe flying into a vast opening and discovering a land beyond the pole. He wrote of lush green valleys, strange animals resembling mammoths, and signs of an advanced civilization. He was ordered to remain silent by the powers that be. Why? Because the existence of a hollow Earth, a world within our world, would shatter the prison reality they have constructed. It would prove that we are not alone and that there is far more to this reality than we have been told. And what of Antarctica? We are told it is an empty, frozen continent. But why is it governed by the Antarctic Treaty, a unique international agreement that heavily restricts and controls all access? Why is it surrounded by a massive military presence? The truth is that Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of a globe. It is a massive ice wall that surrounds our known world. It is the barrier of our prison, the edge of our realm. This is the model described in ancient cosmologies all over the world. They knew that our world was a flat enclosed plain with the ice wall holding in the oceans. Beyond this ice wall is not empty space, but more land. Potentially vast territories, other continents, and other civilizations. This is the biggest secret of all. The reason for the Antarctic Treaty and the military blockade is to prevent us from discovering what lies beyond the wall. They have sold us the globe model to convince us there is nowhere else to go. They have created NASA and the space program as a grand piece of theater to perpetuate the lie of a globe in a vacuum. The lie of our geography is fundamental to the lie of our limitation. The Earth is not what they say it is, and we are not trapped here. We are contained. The concept of an ice wall is not just a theory, it is the key to understanding our true context. If Antarctica is a barrier surrounding our known continents, then the most important question we can ask is what lies beyond it? The answer is mind-expanding. Beyond the ice wall are other lands, other worlds, hidden from us for millennia. These are the lands spoken of in mythology, the realms of Hyperborea, Thule, and Shangri-La. These are not imaginary places from storybooks, they are real locations on a much larger Earth plane than we have been led to believe. Civilizations may exist there, some perhaps far more advanced than our own. Think of our known world as a giant cosmic petri dish. We are a civilization that has been isolated, contained, and experimented upon by the Archontic forces. The ice wall serves as the boundary of this experiment. Beyond it, life may have evolved differently, free from the genetic manipulation and conscious suppression that has been inflicted upon us. These outer worlds could be home to the very beings our ancestors described as gods, highly evolved humans or other species who chose not to interfere with our quarantine zone or who were perhaps prevented from doing so. The possibilities are truly endless once you remove the mental cage of the globe model. The legends of a land of the gods or a hidden paradise are universal. From the Celtic tales of Tir na Nog to the Buddhist legends of Shambhala, humanity has always held a collective memory of a world beyond our own. These are not just wishful thinking. They are echoes of a truth that has been beaten out of our conscious awareness, but still resides deep within our psyche. The controllers of our world know about these lands. It is the ultimate secret they guard. For its revelation would instantly collapse their entire system of control based on scarcity, limitation, and isolation. It would be the ultimate jailbreak. Exploring these hidden worlds is humanity's true destiny. Not a fake CGI-driven exploration of so-called outer space, which is just another distraction, another dead end, but the real exploration of our own greater Earth. Imagine what we would find there. New forms of life, new models of society, new understandings of physics and consciousness. This is the prize they are trying to keep from us. The quest to go beyond the ice wall is not just a physical journey, it is a spiritual one. It is the quest to reclaim our freedom and discover the true, magnificent scale of the world we inhabit. The truth is not out there in the stars, it is right here, just beyond the ice. How do we fight a system that controls the media, the governments, the military, and the financial system? We do not fight it on its own terms. We do not meet violence with violence, as that only feeds the archons with the negative energy they crave. We fight them on a level they cannot control, the level of consciousness. Our consciousness is the most powerful thing in the universe. It is the one thing that is truly ours. The entire control system is designed to suppress it, to distract it, to poison it. Our path to freedom, therefore, is to reclaim it and unleash its power. The first step is to unplug from their mind control matrix. Turn off the mainstream media, which is nothing but a fire hose of fear and propaganda. Question everything you have been told. The system's power is derived from our belief in it. When we withdraw our belief, its power begins to crumble. We must detoxify our bodies from the chemicals they feed us and detoxify our minds from the fear they broadcast. This allows our vibrational frequency to rise. As our frequency rises, we begin to perceive more of reality. We start to see the connections, to see the lies, and to see the puppeteers behind the curtain. As we raise our individual consciousness, something incredible begins to happen. We start to connect with each other on a non-physical level. This is telepathy. It is not a superpower. It is our natural, God-given ability that has been suppressed by the genetic dumbing down and the constant noise of the matrix. Telepathy is the language of consciousness. When we quiet our minds and open our hearts, we can hear the thoughts and feel the emotions of others. We can form a collective consciousness, a unified field of thought and intention that the control system cannot infiltrate or stop. It is a silent, invisible revolution. This telepathic network is our ultimate weapon. The controllers operate through secrecy and division. A united telepathic humanity is their worst nightmare. Through this network, we can share information instantly, bypassing their censorship. We can coordinate our actions without their knowledge. We can create a field of high-frequency energy, a field of love, courage, and truth that is literally painful for the low-vibrational archons to be around. It will force them out of our reality. The uprising will not be televised because it will not happen on television. It will happen in the hearts and minds of billions of people connecting in a silent symphony of awakening. The time for sleeping is over. The time for ignorance is over. The time for fear is over. Humanity is standing at a crossroads. We can continue down the path of the control system into a future of total enslavement in a global technocratic state. Or we can choose another path. We can choose freedom. We can choose love. We can choose truth. This is the Great Awakening. It is happening right now all across the world. People are waking up to the lies. They are seeing the system for what it is, and they are reclaiming their power. You are not alone. There are millions, soon to be billions of us. This awakening is not about waiting for a savior to come and rescue us. The savior is not coming from the sky. The savior is within. It is the divine spark of infinite consciousness that exists inside every single one of us. Our task is to awaken that spark, to fan it into a flame, and to connect our light with the light of others. We must stop complying with our own enslavement, say no to their mandates, their restrictions, and their poisons. Do not consent. Withdraw your energy from their system and invest it in building a new one, a new world based on cooperation, respect for the earth, and the freedom of the individual. Come together, find your tribe, connect with other awakened souls in your community, share information, support each other, and create parallel structures outside of their control. Grow your own food, create your own local economies, educate your own children with the real truth of our history and our potential. Every act of non-compliance, every act of creation, every act of love is a blow against the matrix. We do not need to overthrow their system. We just need to make it obsolete by building something better in its place. We are the creators of our reality, and it is time for us to create a reality worthy of who we truly are. Look at the date. Today is a day people celebrate an illusion of freedom, but our real Independence Day is coming. It will not be a single date on the calendar. It will be the moment when a critical mass of humanity awakens and says no more. The moment we remember that we are infinite consciousness having a human experience. The moment we unite as one human family and cast off the shackles of fear for good. Do not be afraid, be courageous. Open your mind, open your heart, and stand in your truth. The future is not written. We are writing it now together, and it will be magnificent. We are the change.